gas, diesel, hybrid, or electric vehicles? We've got it. As America's best-selling line of commercial vehicles for 39 years, we combine our proven commercial success with advanced technology to help your business simplify operations, improve uptime, and transition to electric. And we have services designed to support non-Ford vehicles too. So you see, we have the right ingredients to give you a one-stop shop experience with the goal of delivering exceptional productivity tools and solutions for all aspects of your organization. We know you have a lot to manage, so our software solutions help to simplify operations by monitoring vehicles and delivering key data insights to help you manage effectively and efficiently. We're well aware that vehicle downtime means lost revenue for you. That's why our software is designed to work directly with our vehicle servicing options to help you improve uptime. We want to keep your vehicles on the road and working for you. When it comes to going electric, our Ford Pro experts are here to assist with that transition. From choosing the right vehicles and chargers, to the software and financing to manage it all, we'll steer you every step of the way. To learn even more about how Ford Pro means more productivity, more uptime, and potentially lowering the total cost of ownership, visit fordpro.com.
Hey everyone, I'm glad you could join us for today's Ford Pro Power Up Academy webinar, security tech that puts fleet managers in the driver's seat. I'm Errol Bomar, and I'm happy to guide you through today's topic on a variety of Ford Pro Intelligence tools that can help with security for your fleet. We'll get down to the nitty-gritty on all things technology when it comes to monitoring driver behavior and the security of your fleet, including embedded modems and how they can help make it easy to stay connected to your fleet. And that happens through live updates and alerts, if you can believe it. You may have heard a few ways that tech can help encourage good driver behavior. Dash cams, in-vehicle coaching, acceleration, and top speed limiters. Are any of these ringing a bell? And what about asset trackers? All of this could assist with maximizing uptime and keeping drivers productive and on track. To help us out today, we'll have two different interviews coming up. One with Matt Krukin from Ford Pro Intelligence and another with Brad Owen from Cameco Corporation. They both have invaluable insight on today's topics, and I think you'll be glad you heard from them in today's webinar. So let's get to my chat with Matt. And yes, that did rhyme. But we're not here for poetry. We're here for some serious technology talk. Hello, everyone. I am excited, glad to have you here today. I'm here with Matt, and before we get into it, first off, Matt, how are you? I'd love for you just to take a moment to introduce yourself and then let everyone know about your role at Ford Pro.
You got it. Errol, thanks for having me on today. It's a pleasure to be here representing Ford Pro, talking to our customers. And again, Matt Krukin, I lead Ford Pro Intelligence North America. What that means is I have the team out in the streets that are visiting customers, helping them utilize our tools, our technology, and connecting to their vehicles.
That's great, Matt. Now, listen, I've got to tell you, I'm super excited to talk about Ford Pro Intelligence, and I want to get into how it can help with driver behavior and vehicle security. But what I'm really also curious about is some of the tools and the features that it offers, right? And not only how they can help encourage that driver behavior, but keep the vehicle secure, but most importantly, potentially maximize uptime.
Yeah, you got it. Uptime is everything. So it's ultimately making sure that our customers who have their vehicles are getting the most out of them. So I'll start with Ford Pro Intelligence. That's really the umbrella. It's a digital platform that enables a full suite of tools and resources underneath it, of which Ford Pro Telematics is one of the products, ultimately allowing our customers to get the most out of the vehicles, getting the data from the vehicles, whether it be an embedded modem or it's a plug-in device for vehicles other than Ford. It could be multi-make. Ultimately, it's Ford Pro Telematics that's actually using the data, taking GPS stamp, taking vehicle health data, getting fuel levels, and ultimately taking the data and creating it into information and putting it into a visible state and an actionable state for our customers utilizing our platform, which is Ford Pro Telematics.
Great. Okay. So for everyone out there, what I love to do, Matt, is start just with the basics. And let's talk more about the embedded modem. I know I've heard a lot about it. I'm sure our viewers have heard about it. Can you tell us more about the embedded modem, why it's important, and maybe even the role it plays in the Ford Pro Intelligence ecosystem?
And most vehicles today, 2020 and newer, will actually have access and have an embedded modem in them, which is really smart because it's actually taking data from the vehicle without the need for any third-party hardware. So it's called the heart. That's a modem inside the vehicle. It's hidden, not really easily accessible by anybody. So it makes it a little bit more secure inside the vehicle, and allows us to get the vehicle data and then upload it into Ford Telematics and into the Ford Pro Intelligence system. But it's allowing us a consistent stream of data that we can actually give our customers, not only from a read-only point, but also from a control point. So we have the ability, unlike any of our competitors out there today, we have the ability to get data from the vehicle, but also send data back to the vehicle, which makes Ford Pro a really dynamic system, putting the controls in our customers' hands.
I would say so. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask, because I'm thinking about our fleets, and a lot of times fleets vary in size, but then also those vehicles can vary in age. And I know you mentioned about the 2020 and newer, the modem is already embedded. What about those vehicles and maybe the fleet owners that some of their vehicles maybe haven't hit their life cycle? Are they able to go back, or is there a solution for them to still benefit from something like an embedded modem if they have vehicles that maybe are a little bit before that 2020 or don't have the embedded modem included?
Yeah, the short answer, Errol, is yes, they can. And Ford Pro Intelligence, Ford Pro Telematics has the ability to not only get embedded modem data from 2020 and newer, but also could be an older Ford. We have a plug-in device, we call it, a PID. Basically, it's a device that plugs right into the OBD2 port and can collect data from most vehicles out there. We take that data, put it into Ford Pro Telematics in one pane of glass across the board, so that a fleet manager for a customer, they just see the data, they see what they can in the Ford Pro Intelligence platform, and they don't necessarily know that's coming from a plug-in device. It all looks the same to them, and Ford Pro allows them one pane of glass for that.
I want to ask you more about the specific security tech features, because I know there's a good list and a good amount that are available under the Ford Pro Telematics. Can you walk us through some of those specific security features that really fleets are able to take advantage of?
Let's start with lock and unlock. The fleet manager or the driver utilizing a mobile app, the Ford Pro Drive app, has the ability to lock and unlock vehicles. Why is this good? Why does this help minimize risk? Well, at the end of the day, if a driver locks their keys in the car, or somebody needs to get into the vehicle at off hours, the fleet manager or the driver has the ability to lock and unlock that vehicle. Let's say they leave a job site and they leave the vehicle on the site, and they want to secure possessions in that vehicle and make sure everything in the vehicle is secure. They have the ability to lock that remotely over the air. And you'll hear me talk about over the air. What that really means is that utilizing our software, we have the ability remotely to log in these vehicles and control the lock and unlock feature. Similarly enough, we actually have the ability to control the climate within the vehicle. And when you control the climate, you can help help reduce risk as well. Maintain a climate that is a little bit easier for a driver to experience or drive in, or if it's really hot outside, they have the ability to cool down the vehicle prior to somebody actually getting there. So Ford Pro, we're taking the ability to see the data in the vehicle and then control the data with lock and unlock. And again, all this comes included with a Ford Pro Telematics subscription. You have the access to lock and unlock. You have top speed limiter and acceleration limiter all included in this suite of services in Ford Pro Telematics. But with top speed limiter, it allows the fleet manager to control the vehicle and control the top speed. The fleet manager may need to do that for multiple reasons. It might have a new driver that they want to help promote a less risk environment for that driver. They can set the top speed limiter remotely right from the computer, 1,000 miles away, which is really neat. Ultimately, by doing that, They can help minimize risk of that vehicle. They have the ability to also prolong, save fuel, and promote a lower total cost of ownership with top speed limiter. And then there's also something known as acceleration limiter, right? All these limitations put on drivers, but what's happening is the fleet manager, it's like they're riding in the car with them and actually controlling them and saying, hey, you know what? I don't want you to press the gas pedal too quickly. So they have the ability to control that, ultimately preventing wear and tear on that vehicle, ultimately helping create a less risk environment by controlling that vehicle remotely and preventing this harsh acceleration. They limit how quickly that vehicle can take off and ultimately control that. It saves on fuel, saves on tires, saves on brakes at the end of the day. So it's Ford Pro Telematics putting the tools to work.
And really what I hear you saying, Matt, and I'm just thinking about some of the practical real world applications for all of the features that you mentioned, right? So it's almost like the fleet manager being able to be in the vehicle with the driver. So from a driver perspective, is there any in-vehicle coaching that the driver is able to see or that the driver will experience that kind of helps them navigate their day while they're driving the vehicle?
Yes. What's great is the Ford Pro vehicles. The Ford vehicles are coming out with the ability, with a Ford Pro Telematics subscription, they have the ability to have in-vehicle coaching. So what does that mean? It's like the fleet managers in the car telling that driver, slow down, be a little bit more careful, pay a little bit more attention. And so utilizing the Ford Pro Telematics platform under Ford Pro Intelligence, the fleet manager has the ability to set thresholds. For example, with in-vehicle coaching, the fleet manager has the ability to set a threshold that says, hey, speeding, you speed at this speed for this duration, that driver will get an alert. So sometimes, we know you might have to speed up past a vehicle and go back in your lane. The fleet manager has the ability to control that duration. They may say, hey, speeding at 75 miles per hour on a duration of 30 seconds, I want that driver to get notified. And then it's like they're right next to that driver telling them slow down. But also there's a little bit more to this suite of security features, which helps minimize risk of a driver, which is also seatbelt use, right? So you can set that, the fleet manager can set the ability for the driver to get notified that the seatbelt needs to be put on. They can get notified that they're braking too hard. And the fleet manager has the ability to set the thresholds for braking and even acceleration per driver, per vehicle. So you might have a heavy duty vehicle that you want to set the braking way more with the sensitivity lever to be way more sensitive because it's a heavy duty vehicle that might be towing, something behind it with higher weight. So that fleet manager has the ability to customize where the driver gets the in-vehicle coaching. So overall, at the end of the day, Ford Pro Telematics does allow the fleet manager to have in-vehicle coaching, just like they're there right next to that driver, saying slow down, don't brake so hard and put on your seatbelt.
And what's nice about it, Matt, and I've had the opportunity to kind of experience and really, utilize some of these tools, is that the in-vehicle coaching is not one that's, harsh or yelling at you, but it does give you that implication. Like you mentioned, if you're speeding, it will say, please slow down, or it will give you that indication and warning, kind of like you mentioned, the fleet manager being able to be there because they're actually hearing in some cases that audible information being delivered to them when it comes to that in-vehicle coaching. Is that right?
Exactly right. And all included in a, Ford Pro Telematics subscription, all in one. It's really great.
I love that. Now, some of these features, I don't know if for all of our viewers, but some of these features, I'm sure some people had no idea that these were all possible, right? And they seem like real game changers. And what I mean by that is because with the Ford Pro Intelligence software and the Ford Pro Telematics, it's really putting everything in one convenient package, kind of a one-stop shop. But in the past, other companies maybe had to use multiple devices or multiple plugins to accomplish something like this. Am I understanding that previous process correctly?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a one-stop shop across the board. utilizing the Ford Pro Telematics platform, whether it be embedded modem, multi-make, utilizing a plug-in device. It's across the board to have one view for our customers and have access to their vehicles.
Now, one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about was just the use of dash cams, right? The dash cam has become more and more popular. We're starting to see more use of it, especially in, I think, the fleet world. How has Ford Pro, what are we doing to utilize dash cam? Do we utilize dash cam? And if we do, how are we helping our fleet customers and managers out with utilizing dash cam?
Yeah, you got it. Errol, those are a lot of questions. I'm going to knock them out for you. We have some fun here on this one. So dash cam technology has been around about 10 years. Ford Pro has actually had dash cams in our Ford Pro Telematics platform for a couple of years. And it is an aftermarket camera that goes in the front of the vehicle, right in the windshield. And it has a front view and a rear facing view. It combines AI technology so that a fleet manager can access the vision in front of the vehicle, and then also see what the driver is doing. Ford Pro does offer the ability for a fleet manager to turn off the in-cab view. So they might have a policy that they don't want their drivers to be videoed. They can do that if that's their choice. But at the end of the day, dash cams give the ability for that fleet manager to actually see what the driver is seeing. Near real time, but also remote, go back in and look at events that may have happened, so they can actually coach and look at a scorecard and ultimately see what's happening. What's really great is that the dash cams also provide in-vehicle coaching, not only through the infotainment center, but dash cams also have the ability to give alerts to a driver if the AI technology sees that they're eating or they're not paying attention and not viewing, or maybe they're distracted driving. They will get alerted from the camera itself. That is real-time alerts to let them know that, hey, I need to pay attention and see what's ahead. I will tell you, if there are customers out there, they should take this. If they're using dash cams, they could go to the insurance companies and potentially get a discount as well on their insurance premiums, because it shows that they're being proactive rather than being reactive and helping manage their fleet. And insurance companies do like to reward customers based on what I've seen out there. But so what's interesting, though, with dash cams, it's all rendered in one pane of glass in the Ford Pro Telematics platform. You can see, GPS technology, GPS tracking, health alerts, and dash cam footage all from the same platform within the Ford Pro Telematics.
That's great. And I love what you said regarding the dash cam, because I think what I hear you saying is that the dash cam can not only provide the great evidence if it's needed, but then it also can help provide a level of driver accountability. What about a newer feature that I've heard about, asset tracking? Can you tell our viewers what that is and how that even came to be a feature that's now offered?
Yeah, you got it. Actually, asset trackers are a product line that Ford Pro just recently launched to our customers. And what it is it's the ability to gives the ability for our customers to track more than just their vehicles. They can have a battery powered, a solar powered, or a hard connected asset tracker that can go into non-powered assets to give the ability for our customers to see more than just their Ford vehicles. We know we do multi-make as well, but also now gives the ability to track non-powered assets. You could have a backhoe out in the field. You could have a dumpster. We've even seen a very popular use case in tracking porta potties out there. So you have a company out there that's managing their fleet, and they manage their vehicles, and then they have their assets that are being picked up and moved around. And what we've seen is that our customers, they want to have one-stop shop. That's a theme here. One-stop shop on keeping a secure fleet, and helping take risk out of the fleet management, but also see their assets that are not necessarily vehicles, but is tied into the full life cycle of how they support their customers. All in, Ford Pro Intelligence, Ford Pro Telematics is allowing our customers to take control and manage their fleets more than just their vehicles, to get the most out of their fleets, to drive profitability within what they do, and minimize downtime and maximize their ability to deliver for their customers.
This is about increasing uptime, obviously productivity, but more importantly, being able to keep the vehicles on the road intended for their use. I can't thank you enough for the way that you deliver the information, making it clear and concise. And for our viewers out there, if you have more questions or want to know more information about anything that Matt covered, it's really simple. Just simply go to fordpro.com. That will start you on your journey to get the information and the support that you need from the Ford Pro team. Matt, before I let you get out of here, is there any last golden nugget or highlight that you want to share with our viewers out there before I let you go for today?
Yeah, obviously go to fordpro.com, but also we have a team out in the field willing to come to you, help assess your fleet, help you with your vehicles all the way through software and fleet management across the board. Ford Pro is looking at full total cost of ownership for customers and making sure they get a positive return on investment. And we're looking and we're consulting and we're helping the customers achieve the most they can in support of their customers. So appreciate being here. Thanks for your time and thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for being here, Matt. Thanks for your expertise. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. Thanks again for that great chat, Matt. Here I am again rhyming. I know it can help snap me out of it. Let's have a power-up pop quiz and see if you've been paying attention to our lesson on Ford Pro security and tech features. All right, question number 1. Which Ford Pro platform enables a suite of digital tools and features integrated with Ford fleet vehicles? A, telematics, B, Ford Pro Intelligence, C, Ford Pro Synergy System, D, none of the above. That would be B, Ford Pro Intelligence. It connects the many digital tools that Ford Pro offers and vehicle data from the embedded modem to give you a comprehensive view of your fleet's information. Next question. Which security feature can set custom driving parameters for monitoring driver behaviors like speed thresholds, idling duration, and acceleration sensitivity? A, asset tracking, B, vehicle integration system 2.0, C, in-vehicle coaching, D, none of the above. If you said C, in-vehicle coaching, you're correct. Remember, that's a no-cost add-on to the Ford Pro Telematics subscription that can monitor your driver's behavior in real time and provide audible prompts to the driver if needed. One last question before we move on. Which of the following is not an example of the vehicle data provided by the embedded modem? A, fuel level, B, tire pressure, C, cup holder sensitivity, D, estimated oil life remaining. Come on, this one was easy. The answer is C. While the embedded modem can provide tons of helpful data on your vehicle, the cup holder is not involved in any part of it. I hope you did well on your Power Up Pop quiz. Now we're gonna speak with someone who could probably ace any quiz on Ford Pro driver behavior and security features. Brad Owen from Cameco Corporation. I was lucky enough to chat with Brad about how he incorporated some of the features that we've talked about today into his day-to-day work. Let's take a look. Brad, I am super excited to have you here today, and I have some great questions for you. But before we get started, for our viewers out there, can you tell them a little bit more about Cameco Corporation?
Yeah, thanks for having me today. Cameco is one of the largest global providers of uranium fuel and nuclear services in the world. So up in northern Saskatchewan, we have uranium mining and milling facilities. From there, that product gets shipped up to Ontario, where it's just converted into nuclear fuel products and distributed to our customers around the world.
Amazing. So for our viewers out there, can you tell us a little bit more about your direct role with Cameco? And then also, how big is the fleet that you guys are operating right now?
Yeah, so my role is the coordinator of asset health monitoring. So I have myself and a team of us that monitor all of Cameco's assets. So that includes all the plant equipment, so electric motors, pumps, gearboxes, compressors, items like that. as well as the mobile fleet. So mobile fleet includes heavy duty mining machines, loaders, things like that. And then of course the light duty vehicle fleet, which is where our Ford products end up. So it's primarily F-250 pickup trucks. It's a very harsh environment up there. We need to move materials around from building to building, site to site at times, and we needed a good heavy-duty truck for that. In addition to that, we're also running some F-150 Lightnings, so electric ones, and we're evaluating those vehicles right now. And then some transits and expeditions make up the remainder.
So let me ask you, I know that you're familiar with the embedded modems that are standard on current Ford vehicles. How have you been able to utilize the data from the embedded modems to help with the everyday operation of the fleet?
Yeah, so the embedded modems make the installation tremendously easy. Being able to utilize the factory installed onboard hardware makes it very simple to enable and install, or you don't even have to install. We just enable it and turn on the features. Right away, we're able to get streaming data and all types of data. So everything from driver behavior to vehicle performance information, things like hours, fuel efficiency, and factory recalls. And yeah, just there's almost no end to the screens you can click there and find out information.
Okay. So what about, because you mentioned driver behavior, was there anything once you started monitoring like the driver behavior or even looking at like vehicle security, things of that nature? Was there anything that surprised you or that you previously were not aware of that the technology helped you really get a handle on?
Yeah, there definitely was. So the main driver for this was maintenance efficiencies and improvement. That's really where the business case came for enabling this the software and the telemetry features. But once we started collecting the data, we could see things like speeding and seatbelt compliance were not where we expected them to be with chemical people operating these vehicles. So being able to see that, we were able to measure that, report it back to the operations, and action those non-compliances. So by seeing those behaviors, having it captured, we were able to make improvements, and then the software and the data showed that the feedback being provided to site was giving us the results we wanted. We could see trends coming down. So having that data on both sides, first to identify it, and then seeing the improvements after the coaching period was very impactful.
Before I let you get out of here, I have to ask, if you were talking to anyone else that maybe is not as familiar with Ford Pro or hasn't necessarily utilized it to the extent that you have, what are some good takeaways or maybe even some golden nuggets that you might share with them about your experience with Ford Pro and the software?
Yeah, and I do have that opportunity quite often. So in mining, I don't know if we're a tight-knit community, but we definitely talk amongst our peers and we talk about technologies and things we're doing. So I have brought up Ford Pro several times. It's a very easy implementation. Hardware is already in the vehicles. The price point was very reasonable for the monthly monitoring fee. It doesn't cost all that much to control or to monitor those vehicles and see what's going on. And then there's so much you can do with that data once you have it. I do think people get maybe pigeonholed into thinking that telemetry is about, GPS location, or maybe it was, where was that vehicle at? Was it speeding? There's so much more data in there. And really, if you can be creative with what's there, and I'll use some examples, idling time. In the winter, we sometimes expect people to idle the vehicles because they're using it as a warm-up shack, because I mentioned it was cold, right? But in the summer, there's no reason to be idling. So we can look at those trends and see, how we're optimizing the vehicles. I will as well mentioned our F-150 Lightnings that we are experimenting with right now, just checking to see how they're going to work for us. Well, we'll have lots of data in terms of our gas fleet versus our electric fleet. And, as we work to transition to electric, we'll be able to have the data to back up those decisions.
What I hear you saying is that you're really thinking down the road. See what I did there? I got you back on that vehicle pun.
Good job.
But no, seriously, I love the fact that you're forward thinking and really looking at ways to embrace the technology. Because one thing that we are definitely certain of in our industry is that the technology is ever changing, and the capabilities of how to use that technology is absolutely changing every day as well. And so being able to find new and innovative ways to maybe implement that data and that information is really going to get back to the biggest thing that we talked about, which is minimizing downtime, maximizing uptime, and overall creating efficiency within the fleet. Brad, I can't thank you enough for your time. And what I really appreciate, Brad, and I hope our viewers out there appreciate it as well, is you broke everything down in a very practical way, but in a way that gave it the ability to really see into the day-to-day and how the Ford Pro Intelligence System and the software utilizing can really kind of help on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for that. And thanks for being here with me today. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and it's been great chatting with you.
I had a great time talking with Brad Owen. I hope you enjoyed listening along. It's always cool to hear how a real business uses these products. But before we go, we want to make sure that we're providing you with the most valuable information for your business. So we'd love for you to scan the QR code on the screen now and complete a short survey. This will help us refine our webinars and get you the information that you need most. Thanks again for joining us today. Go to FordPro.com to find more resources and get started with Ford Pro. Enjoy the rest of your day.